This is a HeadGum podcast.
Hello and welcome to The Complete Guide to Everything, a podcast about everything. I'm one of your hosts, Tomb.
And I'm Skeleton.
It's Halloween month.
It's
What?
the culmination of Halloween
It is
month.
the culmination of Halloween month. This episode will be coming out on All Hallows Eve.
Yeah.
Mischief Night.
Yeah. I never understood.
Mm-hmm.
So Halloween isn't the main event?
No, Mischief Night is. You want to, I guess, ruin the neighborhood for the kids trick-or-treating the next day.
Did you know kids, like in high school, I guess not kids.
Mm-hmm.
At this point, I can call high schoolers kids.
Yeah.
They're not older than me anymore.
Nope, they're not.
I used to, when I was really young,
Uh-huh.
I used to revere teenagers for, I thought like, it was the fact that they had braces was like a sign of like I was like
Of maturity?
Ooh, this boy has silver in his mouth.
What?
Yeah.
Were you like an old prospector or
Yeah,
something?
I didn't understand what was going on there.
Had you been dug up and unfrozen from somebody's backyard?
No, it's just a dumb 5-year-old.
Okay.
These high schoolers that would be like, "Yo, night before Halloween, we all go to a field and like we just fight. We fight the other schools, and it's like people bring chains."
Wow.
It was all like the private schools, like the Catholic schools on Long
Yeah,
Island
of
that people
course.
went to, and like, but it's just like, I don't know, like friends of ours who went to those schools were like, yeah, we did it. Like we'd bring a chain and just swing a chain and just like slam some jerk in the face with it. It's like, you didn't do that.
Yeah, you didn't kill another boy on All Hallows Eve.
Yeah, but so many different people who went to those schools told me those stories.
Yeah,
So
I know some of those people who went to those schools, and they're notoriously liars for
Yeah.
the most part.
That's true. Well, I'm just glad I never got mixed up in any of that stuff.
Yeah. Now, these were teenagers you knew when you were a teen, not when you were 5 years old.
Yeah, yeah.
And looking up to.
No, it was.
They
you know
weren't
who it
bragging
was?
to a 5-year-old about smashing
It
somebody's
was the
brains.
paper boy. Do
What?
you know how the newspaper used to work in the 80s?
What do you mean? How the newspaper used to work in the 80s?
It's a simple question, Tom. Do you know how the newspaper used to? The boy would deliver it.
Yeah, paper boy.
Well, nowadays it's like a fully grown man in a minivan that drives around and does
they
it.
have to deliver fewer papers to more bigger locations.
But it used to be a boy from the neighborhood.
Because everybody got the paper.
Yeah, like the video game. And then he'd throw the newspaper onto your porch or your lawn or whatever.
Sometimes or put it in your mailbox.
Yeah. And then, once a month, he'd come around and knock on everybody's door and go, collect. And then you had to pay him for all the newspapers. Because there was no internet. There was no, like, subscription billing, I guess, at that point.
Yeah, or I think you could write a check to them, though.
Yeah, but you still had to give it to the boy.
Yeah, no, but I think my family just, like, taped it on the door or something. And that was fine. He never... we weren't deadbeats. He didn't have to knock on the door yelling, collect.
I don't know. I think it was like we were never really sure. I don't think this boy was on like a real tight schedule. I don't think it was like...
We weren't really sure, so my parents would just tell us to get in the basement and be quiet. Turn all the lights off.
Like, we didn't really like the newspaper. If it was
you kids still want to get the newspaper for free or not?
I didn't care to. I mean, I guess I needed my Garfield fix.
Yeah. And if your parents were like, guess what, Tim? You're going to have to start buying the newspaper if you want to read Garfield every day.
Can't afford that.
Yeah, that would have been a lot of money for you. You were on a very fixed income.
I think the newspaper was like 8 cents a day back then.
Yeah, it was very cheap. Well, there were a lot of ads in the paper.
Yeah.
I think the price of the paper probably like broke even for them.
So there were all those Crazy Eddie ads in it.
There were all those Crazy Eddie ads. There were all
Nobody Beats the Wiz.
When's the last time you've like bought a newspaper, do you think?
I
mean, we're both young enough that I don't think either of us ever had like a buy the newspaper routine, you know?
I subscribe to the New York Times.
Oh, okay.
The Weekender, Tom.
Okay, yeah.
So every Saturday and Sunday, I get an email in the morning that says, delivery notification. Your newspaper delivery will be delayed today. And then it never comes. I pay $45 a month for this.
Well, you're supporting journalism, Tim.
One day. I'm supposed to get it twice a week.
Yeah.
One day a month. I'll get
something
it.
will show
I'll
up.
get it, yeah.
Okay. When's the last time you bought a newspaper from a newsstand? That's what I'm saying.
Probably the New York Post, when an interview with my band appeared in it in 2006.
Okay. Was there some kind of like scummy angle to you guys that while you were in the New York Post?
I don't know why they did like a quick five question interview with
this
me.
This band said they did cocaine with Hunter Biden.
It was a really at the time I had to claim that I served in Vietnam with John Kerry.
Yeah.
I witnessed his cowardice firsthand. And then they promoted our gig at Pianos that Friday night.
And they plugged your gig.
Yeah.
And the place was packed full of Vietnam vets.
Yeah.
Tim, this week we're talking about ghost hunting.
Yeah. Because it's the scariest thing. Look, last year at the end of Halloween month, no, I went missing because a baby was born.
Oh, right.
2 years ago.
You didn't go missing.
Well, from the podcast.
Yeah, but I mean, I thought there was some like in-episode lore that I forgot. You were like, oh, I remember at the end of Halloween month, I went missing.
Was it 2 years ago that we went to hell?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, so, we got to out-scary that episode.
Yeah. Well, Tim, what is the most dangerous game?
Man?
No, it's Ghost.
Ghost. Oh, okay. Ghost hunting.
Yeah.
Now, Tom, can you explain to me what ghost hunting is?
Ghost hunting. So there's a few different ways to kind of describe it. I mean, there's fictional ghost hunting like Ghostbusters.
Yeah, but that's ghost busting, Tom.
Yeah, but there's a few things within, like even Poltergeist. They like calling ghost hunters. Some people consider Exorcist ghost hunters.
Okay. But then nobody ever catches the Ghostbusters caught ghosts.
Yes, in the little trap.
Yeah. But other than that, like all these ghost hunters on TV, they don't catch ghosts.
They catch evidence.
They're ghost peepers.
Ghost peepers?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, people aren't going to watch a show called Ghost Peepers.
Yeah, anything with peepers in the title, really. Yeah.
Although I think I'd be more interested maybe in watching a show called Ghost Photographers.
But then it's just
then it's like, oh, the ghosts are taking up pictures. And if it's just going to be showing me all the pictures and then you just tell me a ghost took all these, how am I even going to know?
And it's like, how did he work the shutter?
Right.
His hand would go right through the camera.
So ghost hunting in the traditional sense, well, I guess not in the traditional sense, but what I'm talking about is
the cable TV 2 a.m. sense.
Yeah, there's a lot of that stuff that the people that paranormal researchers, ghost hunters, they go by many different names, but they're all after one thing. Well, a few things. Money, fame, glory.
I think that's what we're all after.
Yeah.
I'm not really after glory. Are you after glory?
I don't think I really know what glory is. Right?
Yeah. It's a sad state of affairs. Our generation doesn't even understand what glory is.
Yeah, I guess that would make us like bad competitors.
Yeah, it sounds
So
nice.
the winner goes the glory, and we'd be like, I don't even know what that is. Yeah, I think that's what it is. It's just like you win something or you accomplish something, and then like basking in it. That's the glory.
You like being proud of yourself? I don't know what that's like.
Yeah, yeah. That like if you were
have you ever done anything that you're proud of?
No, Tim, I mean, I've been doing this show with you for over a decade. Of course not. I think the idea of I'm the first person that got definitive evidence of a ghost.
Yeah, but they claim to get it all the time.
Yeah, but like this time for real. Like I got an exclusive sit down interview
with a ghost.
With a ghost, yeah. And now it's time for the glory. I get to
that happens at improv theaters 7 nights a week.
And then they go and bask in the glory at drinks afterwards.
I feel like there's so many improv shows where it's like, no, here's the hook. Mm-hmm. It's an interview with a famous dead person from history.
Yeah.
It's like, that's every improv show.
Yeah, I mean, that's like a pretty common conceit, I guess.
Yeah.
You really took improv comedy down.
I like improv comedy, Tom, to this day.
You just don't like when they're interviewing somebody who's
I like it. I'm just saying it's common.
Is it because it's too scary for you? You
don't
it's
freaking
like
terrifying.
To imagine somebody talking to a ghost on stage?
William Shakespeare, that man's been dead for hundreds of years.
Yeah. I've seen you at some of these shows where you've ruined the show, where you stand up and you go, wait, is this real or is this the joke?
Multiple times during the episode, but during the show.
Yeah, they'll assure you, they'll break character and say, no, sir, it's just part of it.
And they're really not supposed to break character.
Right, but they do it because you're causing a scene.
It's so alarming the way that I'm bringing this up. Yeah.
5 minutes later, you're
I
scared
get confused.
again. Yeah.
And they serve alcohol, and I get drunk and scared.
Yeah.
Piss myself.
You didn't have to bring that part up.
Well, I see a ghost, I get,
So there are some people that are ghost hunters. I would say this. It kind of falls into two different categories. There are ghost hunters who are like kind of exorcists, where they're like, we're gonna help you get rid of this ghost. Mm-hmm. And a lot of times that's like, a couple of goobers, and then they've got one lady who's like a witch or something, or they, know some local priest and he comes and says something.
A priest is on these?
No, I don't think they have priests, but they get like a local wacko who's like, oh, actually I'm, I can commune with the spirit realm. Yeah. And it's like, all right, you come with us and you tell these ghosts to beat it because, these people still have another 30 years on their mortgage and they don't want to have to move. Right. The market's down. They'd have to really take a big loss. They'd have to, in terms of being transparent, no pun intended, they have to tell the next owner about there being ghosts in there. So that's
Tom,
one.
Can I ask you a question?
Mm-hmm.
If you were going to buy a house and then you found out that it might be haunted, would you still buy the house?
It would depend on what the story is.
Okay.
Like if they were like, it might be haunted, or if they were like, a cult killed themselves.
Yeah, no, if there was a crime committed there, yeah.
And that's why it's haunted. That's who haunts it. Yeah, I wouldn't be thrilled about that.
Yeah. But if it was like, oh, some lady, the previous owner, she put a plate on the side of on the table on one side of the room, and when she came back, the plate was on the other side of the room on a different table.
Wow,
that's what like the majority of people's ghost stories are, right? And the napkin was folded, and I didn't fold the napkin before.
I don't know if that's like the majority of the ghost hunting stuff. A lot of
just like stories that you hear from people about ghosts.
Yeah. I think the most common story that I hear from people about ghosts is strange noises.
Right.
Like I remember there was like a friend of my family that had a ghost.
You can say it was a celebrity, right?
What?
It's a minor celebrity.
Who?
I don't know. You were dancing around
coy?
it. Yeah.
No, because I think it was like a friend of my parents.
Eric Estrada.
It was Eric Estrada. He had a ghost. at an old house he lived in where he would apparently like go to sleep at night and hear up in the attic somebody walking with like big heavy boots on. And then he would run up there, turn the light, and there was nothing. Right. Go back down, go to sleep, hear somebody walking around up there, go back up, nothing. Like that kind of thing.
Yeah.
I think that that's common, that people hear noises, like doors open, cabinets open. I think that's more common than moving a plate from one table to another table.
That's a story I heard.
I honestly think that that's like difficult for a ghost to do, like move a plate like that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, you're the ghost expert.
Well, that's kind of like the idea with these ghosts. The reason why we're not seeing and hearing and feeling ghosts 24/7 is that it takes like a lot of effort for them to do anything, you know? And some ghosts are powerful. Some ghosts aren't very powerful.
This makes me feel good if you die before I die.
Yeah, that I'll come haunt you.
No, that you won't come haunt me.
Well, because it'll take a lot of effort. Yeah.
I don't think you'll be haunting many people.
Yeah, I'm not going to spend a week at your house to move one plate to another.
Also, I'm not going to be that impressed.
I know. Yeah. So I think
my wife will be like, "Did you move that plate?" And I'll be like, "I don't remember, honestly."
Yeah, Tim, I think you could probably be haunted 24 hours a day right now, and you wouldn't know.
Yeah.
You would just chalk it up to like, "Oh, I guess I did that." I don't really recall. I mean, you said that.
I don't really keep track of the things I do in any meaningful way.
You said that last week when I asked you, what if a UFO landed like 10 seconds right in front of you and then took off? You were like, I would just think I made it up. Have a little faith in yourself, Tim.
I don't need faith in myself.
You're never going to experience glory that way. So that's one of the ghost type things, like people trying to get rid of ghosts.
Right.
Now, do you ever think you would like move into a house and if it were haunted that you would like inquire about these services?
I don't think so. Unless, look, we've all seen Poltergeist.
Yeah.
If I was facing a Craig T. Nelson situation.
All right. If Craig T. Nelson was also living in the house.
Exactly. I want to get him out.
Honey, did we move into this house with Craig T. Nelson?
You know what I'd need to get, Tom? Coach Hunter.
Yes, you would need to get a Coach Hunter.
Right, to get
because he was on the TV show. Coach. He was Coach.
Yeah, he was also in the movie Poltergeist. Look, if I was facing what that family was facing, yeah, I'd get a little old woman with a funny voice. I forgot
they had the little lady who was like, "Get out of here, ghost."
Yeah,
that lady.
I wouldn't want her in my house.
Apparently, a nice lady.
Yeah,
despite being very creepy in that movie.
Yeah. In any other context, right? Picture her a receptionist at an office.
Yeah.
Charming. You wouldn't be like, ooh, this lady's creepy.
Yeah, but if she's coming, I mean, if anybody's coming to get rid of, exercise some kind of a poltergeist, they're going to be a little off kilter, I think. So you would do that before you moved out.
Right.
You would try and hire somebody to take care of the problem.
I think so. But like, if it was like, I'm moving into a house and somebody told me the story about the plate moving, I wouldn't be like, well, before I move my family in, we're going to have to make sure that no plates will get moved from one side of the dining room to the other.
What if you were negotiating buying the house and there was still time to put that into the offer? You guys, the sellers, you're going to have to pony up to get a creepy little lady in here to exercise this place.
Look, how would I benefit?
I'm just saying
let some creep into the home that I'm gonna. I don't care if it's on some other poor sap's dime.
It's on his.
Good. Some other guy will pay for
it's
a creep to come into my home.
His time. You're gonna do this before you move in. You won't even be there for it.
You wonder if they do something weird.
They'll videotape the whole thing for you. That's part of the service.
All right, then
included in the service.
Yeah, that's fine. Then we could, because you'd be interested in getting your hands on that videotape.
Yeah, and you could probably make some money selling me this videotape.
Exactly. It's a great deal I negotiated.
Yeah, and you wind up ahead.
Yeah.
Then you got a house and like, I don't know, $20. from me buying that tape. Do you think you would ever like move into a place and what's the threshold of something happening where you'd be like, nope, I'm out. I'm leaving tonight and never coming back to this house?
You know what?
Mm-hmm.
I was gonna say the Amityville Horror House thing of
like the walls bleeding.
Well, no, not the walls, but the get out.
Oh, if you heard somebody saying "get out,"
but also I feel like I'd be like, Tim, you're making this up. That was in your head.
Yeah.
You ever hear a noise once? You ever hear a voice saying something creepy once?
Get out? No, I've never heard a voice
saying something creepy.
No, Tim, I think maybe you should see a doctor. You ever hear a voice telling you to do bad things?
Sometimes, no, it doesn't tell me to do bad things, but sometimes when I wake up like in the middle of the night to go to the bathroom or something, I start thinking about Bob from Twin Peaks.
Tim, it's the second week in a row where you bringing up Bob from Twin Peaks?
Then I get scared that and then I get so spooked that I have to watch TV. I had to watch Cheers.
I have to go watch.
Not Twin Peaks. Yeah. I gotta watch Cheers to cleanse the palate.
Yeah.
To calm myself down.
But then that doesn't remind you of Three Men and a Baby with the ghost in that.
Oh man.
Yeah. You're going to have to find something else to calm you down now.
Yeah.
It can't be Coach either, because that's going to make you think of Poltergeist.
Everything is creepy adjacent these days, huh?
It really is.
80s, I guess.
It's a sign. It's a sign of the times. All right. So that's one element of ghost hunting.
Right.
But then the other, more common element, I think, or at least more common in pop culture, is these paranormal investigators. And these aren't necessarily, actually, I would say, I guess some people do hire these people.
Discovery Entertainment to fill out their middle of the night programming.
I'm saying private citizens, I guess, sometimes do hire these people because they think their house is haunted and they want proof. But you're just going to get...
Tom, do you think people hire them because they say that people hire them on the TV show? What person would you ever hire these guys? Would you ever hire these guys to do anything?
No, I wouldn't hire them to screw a light bulb in.
Yeah, Tom, if you're not going to, believe me, there's...
No, there are people that will do it. Because there are people that think, this place is haunted, but I need to get a second opinion.
I need somebody with professional grade equipment to tell me if it's haunted.
Yeah, and I'm going to ignore the fact that obviously these people are going to tell me what they're not going to come and say, yeah, we brought all this equipment and didn't see anything. They're going to present something to me, and that's just going to freak me out and make me not want to live here anymore.
Right. They're going to show you some night vision video that has a little bit of a blur on it.
Some of the various pieces of evidence later. But supposedly people do hire these kinds of guys. But much more common, the Travel Channel hires these types of guys. I was looking because I was trying to find ghost hunting shows. I don't have cable.
Mm-hmm.
And it took me a while because I was like, I think they're on TLC. No. It's Discovery. No. History Channel. No. Travel Channel. That's where they are, which I guess makes sense because they are traveling to these locations. They're never we're at the studio.
The channels
seeing if
don't
our
mean
studio...
anything anymore. Tom, do you know that every single a third of the basic cable channels are owned by Paramount.
Mm-hmm.
So they just show
Wayne's World.
The same Adam Sandler movie will be on either BET, MTV, or the country music television. It's we're showing Click.
Yeah, right. Next you're going to tell me that the Learning Channel doesn't even teach you anything anymore.
Tom, the History Channel.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, they have a good amount of history.
I thought you were going to say the History Channel covers current events now.
MTV doesn't play videos anymore.
Yeah.
You know what?
MTV doesn't play TV shows anymore.
That's the thing. Look, I know I complained earlier about not understanding how things work or something. I don't know. Why doesn't MTV play videos?
I don't understand why they don't play the shows they've already made instead of just ridiculousness for 23 hours a day.
It's like, yeah, with all of they're selling 90s nostalgia back to me. Mm-hmm. If they just put their 1996 programming on, just like
people would watch it.
Yeah, like probably more people than watch ridiculousness.
Yeah,
I would watch it. I'd watch whatever commercials they put in.
Yeah, and I mean, even if they played like new music videos, like artists still make music videos.
I don't want to watch new music videos.
Yeah, I know, but I don't either. But I'm saying, like, it's not like they don't show music videos anymore because people stopped making them. Yeah. It's like, no, people probably make more expensive music videos than ever now. It's just they make them for YouTube.
Yeah. Where people can watch whenever they want. They don't have to wait on linear TV for it to come on in between a bunch of commercials.
Yeah, I mean, I guess.
Yeah.
But, it'd be nice maybe once in a while. But I agree with your idea. Show old. I mean, that was like what VH1 was.
Yeah, or show freaking like Sandblast.
What was Sandblast?
That was the game show / athletic game show where they were at the beach and they had to I don't know. It was on after schoschool.
Just show old episodes of Sandblast.
I just want to feel like I'm 15 again. Can you just do that for me?
I just want to beat off in front of the TV watching Sandblast.
What did you do when you were 15?
Tim, you had a quick programming note before we continued about Sandblast.
Yeah, hosted by Summer Sanders.
Who also hosted
Nickelodeon's Figure It Out, which was, I don't know why you knew that show, Tom, because that was 1997. You were watching Nickelodeon when you were...
When I was 16, they had celebrity guests on there. I'd watch it once in a while, sure.
It's Lori Beth Denberg.
I mean, you're also forgetting that back then it was like, there's like nothing on MTV right now. There's nothing on HBO right now.
I didn't even have HBO.
Yeah. I guess I'll check out VH1. Oh, God, there's nothing there. Like, okay, I'll check out Nickelodeon, see what they got. Maybe they got cartoons on. Anyway, Tim, we're not talking about cartoons. We're talking about ghost hunting.
We're talking about real stuff.
Tim, have you ever been a part of a ghost hunting team?
A ghost hunting team?
Yeah.
No.
I have been. In 4th grade, I was part of a crack squad of ghost hunters.
Was this sanctioned by anybody, or was this a startup?
Tim, it was independent. We didn't kowtow to anyone. I forget what it even was. I think I was the gadget guy.
Okay, what gadgets did you have?
Tim, I'll be honest with you.
You had plans for a grappling hook at some point.
It was a lot of stuff that was just like tin foil. Just aluminum foil bent into different shapes. I wasn't very smart in 4th grade. 4th grade was also when I told the whole class that I noticed a girl was wearing jeans that had a fly, so that meant she had a wiener in my book. And she got the whole class agreed with me, and she was crying, and then I got in trouble just for
being wrong.
I was learning observational humor.
Was it a joke?
I think it was just something I had never thought about before.
Yeah.
And it didn't occur to me like, no, the fly serves 2 purposes, moron. It's also so you can get your pants on.
Right.
It was the 80s, baggy pants were in. So, I never undid my fly to get my pants on.
Around that time, Tom, I remember being real upset. A friend of mine went to burp in somebody else's face. It wound up with it wasn't a burp. It was a projectile vomit. He was like, "Hey, Brendan, look at this," and then went to burp in his face and just vomited all over his face.
Yeah.
And then they both got to go home sick.
I mean, I think that's fair. Would you have accepted somebody vomiting in your face for you to go home sick?
Yeah.
Yeah. You would've?
You wouldn't have to be at school anymore?
Yeah, but I don't know. That's a pretty dramatic thing to go through.
And it was also like third or fourth grade. What were we doing?
Yeah.
It probably wasn't very hard.
Yeah.
They weren't asking much of me.
No.
And school was over at like, what, 2:45? Yeah. My day was, imagine being like, the bell's ringing, 2:30 p.m., my day is done.
Yeah, that'd be amazing. I mean, that kid got sent home from school. It was probably like 8:30 in the morning.
Also, his parents, I think about this stuff. Like,
yeah.
I just had to like go home from work.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember as a kid just kind of thinking like, all right, not my, I mean, I remember like being homesick by myself. Cause like, once I was like old enough, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't really remember earlier, but I'm guessing like my mom had to come home from work.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, that didn't really pan out. That was during the height of Bloody Mary in the window, in the mirror. People had heard about that. And,
say it 3 times.
Yeah. And it was like, all right, look, we got to put some structure around this. I'm going to start a ghost hunting team just in case things get out of control.
Right.
But like I mentioned earlier.
Did anybody or you or anybody ever successfully summon Bloody Mary in the...
I mean, people claim to.
Yeah. Does she get out of the mirror at some point? Or do you just see her in the mirror?
I think you see her in the mirror and most people run out at that point. Right. I think somebody did it in our classroom and we held the door shut and they claimed that Bloody Mary was trying to grab him. But, it's hard to take
where was the
teacher's word. I don't know where the teacher was during all of this. This is also a teacher I remember one time. And like, boy, this must have been like the worst day of this woman's life that she was on the can and ran out of toilet paper and had to like open
the teacher had a full class of like 25 students. It was like, all right, excuse me, I'm going to go into the bathroom that's in the classroom.
Yeah. I think we were like taking a test or something. So she was like, she went in there with the newspaper tucked under her arm.
She's in there for 45 minutes.
Yeah. But then she just like opened the door like barely a crack, like called the most like mature girl in the class's name, and told her like, you have to like go across the hall and tell Mrs. So-and-so, like, you need a roll of toilet paper for me and come back immediately. And of course, like, all the kids were like, what is happening? The teacher's in the bathroom, but opening the door and talking to us.
But the mature girl was like, everybody grow up.
No, she just, she had marching orders. She went and just accomplished what she needed.
Trying to think of who that might have been in your class. You know who it was in my class, Tom?
Who's that?
Somebody who, where are they now? She became a big QAnon lady.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but like in 4th grade, she would have been the one called upon to be like, I guess she's being called upon now.
Right, for a higher purpose. Yeah. But Tim, my dreams as a 4th grader are now a lucrative living for a lot of people. Not only on the Travel Channel, which has a million ghost shows. There's Ghost Hunters, Ghost Adventures, Ghosts, Acquaintances. I don't know. But there's also a lot of YouTube channels that do, which makes sense. Anybody can make a YouTube channel.
Yeah.
Now, the YouTube ones, a lot of them are very fake from what I've seen.
Yeah, not like those Travel Channel shows.
Well, the Travel Channel shows, I had you watch some clips from Ghost Adventures.
Right.
Which I believe is in season 25 right now.
Yeah, I remember a friend of ours, a friend of the show, Chris, was really into Ghost Adventures in like 2006.
Yeah, when it was only like 10 seasons in. Yeah, long-running show. And Now, had you seen any of this before I showed you these clips?
Yeah, I've seen that. Tom, Chris was our roommate at the time.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, but he was always trying to watch on the big TV, and we were like, no. You watch that in your room. Now, this show is led by this guy, Zach Baggins.
Yeah, I know Bags.
Like Bags.
Z-Bags is what they call
Yeah.
him.
Which, first off, I didn't know you could have a last name like a Hobbit.
Yeah. He's related to him, I think.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, that would explain his
last
affinity
name
towards the paranormal and his last name. But for anybody that hasn't seen this guy's ridiculous. It's just like a ghost bro.
Yeah.
Right? Is that how you would describe him?
I think so. I mean, he sucks. He's a guy that sucks.
Yeah. And one of the big things with this show, and one of the reasons why this guy sucks and why it's like funny to watch, and in fairness to him, entertaining to watch, is that they overreact about everything.
Right.
But
25 seasons in, and they're all free, like
losing their mind.
Probably like 45 episodes a season too, right? Like these aren't like prestige TV, 13 episodes. Yeah, no, this is in every episode at least once, like completely losing his shit. It's just like, at what point is this going to become routine for you? Like, this is my life. This happens to me every
anyone
day.
You've ever seen in your life. Which, I mean, I guess that's like a good shtick, because I've seen other ghost hunting things where I think, these people act normal in the like, yeah, I've been to 100 haunted places and heard weird noises. I'm just here gathering data. It's just like a government job for me. But yeah, these guys scared out of their minds. But of course, that's what you want to watch.
No, it's not. Tom.
What?
I made it through 1.5 of the clips that you sent me, and you sent me like 15 clips.
I sent you 4 clips.
No,
I told you to watch them all twice.
You sent me a lot of clips, and you were also like, it was like 10 minutes before I was supposed to be here.
You're lying, but I'm not going to call you out on the show about it. Well, I guess I did.
You just did.
But
you didn't give you a lot of time.
I gave you. They were short clips, but
they're like 4 minutes.
But 4 minutes is a short clip, Tim.
20 minutes. All right, if you sent me 5 of them, it's 20 minutes.
Yeah.
You don't have 20 minutes to watch this.
And you
trash.
said, which is a lie, that I gave them to you 10 minutes before you had to leave. Well, you could watch half of them.
No, but I didn't.
This guy, I also watched a video. It was like a day in the life of Zach Baggins.
Okay.
And have you ever heard, I forget if it's he said this, but that like Pee Wee Herman is a 3-year-old's idea of the coolest guy ever?
Yeah. Wait, Zach Baggins said
No.
that?
I forget if Paul Rubin said this or somebody else, but like that's what that character is. Zach Baggins is a 13-year-old boy's idea of the coolest guy ever.
See, no, it was a 13-year-old Tom's idea. The coolest guy ever.
No, because listen, I'm telling you about, I watched this thing in the day in the life. This is what his day was, Tim. And it wasn't like, sometimes you watch these day in the life things and they're like, this was for the Travel Channel, but it was like their YouTube channel. And sometimes you watch a day in the life thing and they're honest, where they're like, today's kind of stacked. I'm normally not doing this much, but we want to, show you guys. Or the other end, like, actually today I don't.
Yeah.
You have the day off, or we're not in production right now. So
Zach Baggins at his, you got leisure Baggins.
First thing he did in the day was play pool.
Okay, very cool. On his own pool table?
I think it was his own pool table.
Okay.
Then he showed off his dungeon where he makes music.
Dungeon?
Yeah, but he didn't actually like make any music down there. He was just showing it off.
What did he have, like turntables or something?
Nah, he had like a lot of like Ibanez's, like that kind of guy. Yeah. He went and worked out, and as he was working out, I wrote it down, the exact quote, because he's like working out in the gym. He's like saying hi to everybody, like he owns the place, because he's like in shape guy.
Yeah.
And then as he's lifting a weight, he goes, "This guy over here is looking at me like I'm a freak because I'm lifting 65 pounds with one arm."
Wow, very cool.
Then he goes.
Is that hard? I guess I couldn't do it, probably.
Yeah, I don't think I would think somebody's a freak, though. I mean, looking at this guy, like I said, he's in pretty good shape. I would think like, oh, yeah, he could do a 65-pound dumbbell lift.
Side note,
mm-hmm.
Do you want to start weight training with me?
With you, are you going to be my coach? Is that what this is?
Yeah, the two of us will help each other.
Oh,
we'll spot each other. This is great.
I thought you were pitching just like, Tom, I see a lot of potential in you. I'd like to take you on. I'd like to train you.
Yeah.
And we're going to start entering you in physique competitions. You'll be the guy helping me get all oiled up beforehand.
I get a cut of the winnings though, because I'm providing the oil.
You're providing the oil, and you're the schedule, the regimen.
Yeah.
Then he goes and eats lunch, and while he's eating lunch,
where's he eating lunch? Freaking Sizzler.
That's
cool,
it wasn't.
Right? What's
are you trying to think of a place celebrities
Buffalo Wild Wings?
No,
what's a cool place?
It looked like just like a regular local restaurant type place. I mean, I forget what he was eating, but it did strike me as like unhealthy. I was a little surprised considering that he was, seems like very fitness conscious, but whatever.
Hey, after you're blasting your pecs, you gotta
fuel back up, refill the old tank.
Yeah. He's eating venison.
So he's eating lunch. And then one of the other guys from the show comes there, and which I'm going to talk about in a minute. But the other guy from the show has like a bunch of packages for him. And he explains, he's like, Aaron here is the only guy with a P.O. box. So people send stuff from me to his P.O. box. And then he brings them to me.
Zach Baggins can't afford a P.O. box?
I don't know why. It's like...
Or is that a power move?
I think it's a power move, which I'm going to get into.
Zach Baggins doesn't deal with the post office.
So he opens up presents. I mean, I'm saying presents, but it was like, scrapbooks made by maniacs for him.
Full of like ghosts?
No, full of like pictures of him that they've like cut out from magazines or like printed at home and put in there. Yeah. And they spelled his name wrong, too.
And he opens this on the thing to encourage people to keep doing this?
I don't know if it's to encourage people.
In what magazines is Zach Baggins' picture appearing in?
I don't know. Tim, look, I don't know what kind of weird ghost magazines are out there.
I bet at one point he was in Cigar Aficionado.
Yeah, probably. I'm sure he was in Stuff magazine. Yeah. And then the end of his day, he goes to an animal shelter and pets some dogs.
He just pets them?
Just pets them. I think I don't think maybe he does volunteer there, but it sounded like maybe he donates money there. Mm-hmm. And like,
yeah, that's cool.
It is cool, but it definitely struck me as like, you don't do this every day. You're just trying to kind of show like, look, I know you just saw me and you thought I'm a psycho because I was lifting 65 pounds, but I'm also a tender guy who likes animals.
Yeah. No, this was meant to show the breadth of...
Yeah, but the whole time I'm like, is he going to go on a ghost adventure? is he at least going to like edit a ghost adventure, plan a ghost adventure? Nothing to do with production during this day in the life. But that was going to...
What would you do for a day in the life?
Tell him, beat it. Get out of here! Don't follow me around.
I gotta watch Sandblast, so don't turn the cameras on.
If I can tell if I see the red light, I know it's on. But this was the other thing I was going to say to go along with him being the 13-year-old's idea of the coolest guy ever. All this guy does is bully all the people that work with him. I guess they work for him.
Yeah.
But so many of these clips
That's what alpha dudes do.
I know. And so many of these clips I watched, it was like they would go into a house and they'd be like, man, this house is so scary. I'm getting really bad vibes. All right, Billy and Aaron, you stay in here. I'm going to go to the van and oversee everything. Then he would go in the van, watch him on the video. He'd be like, all right, Billy, lock Aaron in that room and then come out and hang out with me in the van. So he made these guys do all the scary stuff.
Tom, can I
In fairness,
ask you
these
a
guys
question?
seem like big boobs. So it made for better TV. They got so scared.
Tom, do you think these people are actually scared of the places that they go to?
I think so. Look, if they're not scared, then they're like better I think they're playing it up.
Right.
But there are definitely
Even after 25 seasons, Tom.
Yeah, there are definitely some clips where it's like, look, even if you don't believe in ghosts or whatever, that would be like a creepy basement to be in, completely pitch black.
But like, if you did that 40
all the
times
time
in a year,
I don't know. You're going to different places, new places, new vibes.
dark basement is a dark basement, Tom.
Yeah, I don't know.
So wait, what happens on these shows? I don't think we've adequately explained it.
Well, yeah. Let me talk about what happens on these shows, Tim. Thank you for bringing that up. They have a lot of tools. Ghost hunting nowadays isn't, this isn't your grandpa's ghost hunting, Tim.
No,
I
don't want you to.
I don't know how you
speak ill of my grandfather's
yeah,
ghost hunting
and to
business.
be fair, I don't know how he
Yeah.
went about ghost hunting.
No, it's very successful.
Now, was he the kind of ghost hunter that would scare the ghosts away, or just tell people they had ghosts?
He'd scare them. He got pots and pans.
Yeah, and they'd also tell him, "Hey, you got ghosts. Don't worry, I got rid of them.
He had
I got them out of here with
little,
pots and pans."
hung around with a weird old lady with a high-pitched voice.
So let me tell you about some of these gadgets they got nowadays. First one, cheapest thing, get in on the ground floor if you want to, figure out if there are ghosts somewhere. An electromagnetic field reader.
EMF.
An EMF reader. Now, these are legitimate things that you use to make sure there's not like magnetic interference.
Right.
You maybe use this when you're like building a home or remodeling a home, making sure that there's not like that you've got wires that aren't insulated maybe, and they could cause interference with other electronics.
Right. I still don't. I don't understand that explanation, but I'll go like, yeah.
You use it to find electromagnetic interference or frequencies.
What was it? What would it interfere with?
Like how old phones, cell phones, right before they would ring, they would make speakers go.
Oh yeah, I hated that.
Yeah, everybody hated it. They like finally fixed phones so they don't do that.
Man, it didn't occur to me.
Yeah,
that problem just doesn't exist for me anymore.
no, they fixed it. But that's an interference problem where a signal coming to the phone is interfering with speakers. So like that kind of thing.
Right.
There are a million different examples of it. Even like bad Wi-Fi. It could be because, you have, if you could use this EMF reader to be like, there must be, some electrical thing in the wall right here that's causing a lot of interference. I'm going to put the router on the other side of the room.
Right.
But if
An
you're
exciting portion of the show.
But that's not what the ghost hunters are using it for, Tim. They're using it oftentimes. I think this would only kind of work if you were somewhere that was like abandoned.
Right.
And that
Which is where they frequently are.
Yeah, where there is no electricity. Then you could claim at least, all right, there's no electricity.
So ghosts are made of electric?
No, but
in
they
this
can
scenario?
interfere because they're on like a different plane,
I don't know. I don't understand the point of these shows.
It's to find ghosts, Tim. It's to hunt ghosts.
But they never catch a ghost.
Sometimes they catch evidence of ghosts.
Tom, all right, but they've never caught a ghost.
And
25 seasons, they've never caught a ghost on camera.
they always slip right through their fingers.
So close. One day, the series finale is going to be wild.
No, I mean, that's like, honestly, the genius thing these guys have come upon, and I don't know if this is them or it's just the way ghost hunting has gone, is that I remember like we were talking the other week about how there used to be specials on TV all the time, like the alien autopsy special.
Yeah.
There used to be like ghost hunting specials on network TV sometimes. I remember this one that I have to see if I can find it. I think they were filming in Alcatraz, maybe a different, and that like a camera was rolling and all of a sudden there was like a huge noise and like somebody was like, look, and they turned the camera and it was like a black, it's like a very dark hallway.
Mm-hmm.
And you could just see this white figure like look and then turn and go into a wall. And it was crazy.
Yeah, but Tom, you understand that wasn't real, right?
No, I think it was because the technology didn't exist. Like it didn't look that great. You know what I mean? Like you had to really look at it and then you were like, oh, okay.
Yeah,
I
guess.
They didn't used to put fake stuff on TV.
That's true. We've learned that, we've established that.
But I feel like so many ghost shows before, it was like, or specials, they would just have to kind of rely on, oh, I feel cold right here. Or, but now they've just got a plethora of gadgets so that pretty much no matter what, they're walking out of there with content. They're walking out of there with enough stuff to make a TV show.
Right. Compelling for idiots.
EMF reader is one of these things. Another one is an SLS camera. Now, what this is and where this came about originally is, do you remember the Xbox Kinect?
Tom, I don't care. Yeah, I remember. You want to know what the thing is? You explained this to me in real life before.
Yeah.
How the Xbox Kinect works. It maps the whole room.
It doesn't map the whole room, but it maps what's in front of it. Where basically it's sending out, and this is how like Face ID on your iPhone works too.
I don't care how any of this works.
Listen, it has a little projector.
I'm listening.
It's putting out a bunch of infrared dots, right?
Mm-hmm.
So like the way it works to unlock your phone with your face, it's shooting out these dots. The camera, you can't see the dots, but the camera can see the dots, and it's looking at the dots and going, okay, I can tell by how big and small the dots are, allows it to see like a 3D shape. Right. So that's why you can't just hold a picture in front of your phone and unlock it.
I've done that before, though.
No, you haven't. You have to have a physical face there.
Not all the time. I've used a picture.
So the way the Xbox Kinect worked was very similar. It would send out these dots, and then the dots would, hit a person, and it could use, I don't know, I guess like machine learning and be like, oh, okay, that is the shape of a person. So we're going to use that shape to figure out how this person's moving. Now they started using these in, haunted places. And now all of a sudden they're picking up figures that aren't there. So you'll see, I'll be videotaping you on one of these cameras, and there'll be like a stick figure overlay of you, but then next to you will be like a stick figure man, like with his arm around your shoulder. And I'll be like,
this has never appeared on that show.
He's right next to you. He's right there.
And the thing is, if there's a ghost putting his arm around me,
that's fine.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, it's a thrill for the ghost, seems like. And if I'm unaware, hey, do whatever you want.
You heard it here first, ghosts. Tim's an open book to you.
Seriously, haunt me all you want.
Tim, this is the kind of shit that they do on Ghost Adventures. They say things like that, and then things follow them home.
But here's the thing. Mm-hmm. You ever hear of a friendly ghost, Tom?
Yeah, Casper.
Yeah. I could make a new best friend.
Now, the thing with this is that the camera is just, it's like trying to interpret shapes. So it's like trying really hard to see something.
Right.
So, of course, sometimes it's going to pick up false positives. But again, when you look at this footage, it's very compelling when they go to a place and they've got footage of absolutely jack shit, but then they can be like, but look at this.
Right.
There's somebody right there. There are some clips online of this type of thing where like babies are reacting to like where that thing is that are like pretty creepy though.
Babies can see ghosts.
Yeah. Oh yeah. 100%.
But hey, God bless them. Like, I don't see why we're so afraid of ghosts, Tom. I've said it 1,000 times on the show. Show me when someone's been murdered by a ghost, then I'll be alarmed by all this.
Tim, during my research today, I found a clip of Joe Rogan saying the exact same thing.
Hey.
So you guys are bosom buddies in your opinion of that ghosts can't hurt people, have never murdered anyone. So what's the big deal?
I mean, look, you want to throw that, like, I think Rogan is also against, like, murder. I'm sure, like, not in all the cases that I'm against murder.
Yeah, probably in fewer cases than you are.
But, like, you can't just say, like, is Joe Rogan
No, I'm
thinks
just saying
something.
that you're stealing his bit.
Tom,
you're stealing a lot of bits of his lately.
Yeah, well, not necessarily bits, but ideas.
Right. You've also been commentating amateur MMA matches lately, which I don't think that's a way to get into. These amateur matches, Tim. They aren't actually sanctioned by anyone. It's just backyard brawls.
Yeah. The night before Halloween, a bunch of Catholic school kids coming together, beating the shit out of each other.
And you're like, oh, he's got a figure eight headlock.
I've been watching a lot of old news radio, Tom.
Yeah.
I guess the only news radio episodes are up. Joe Rogan, good comedic timing. Like, he's perfect on that show. Everybody's perfect.
Everybody on that show is good.
It's like Andy Dick and Joe Rogan. And it's just like, hey, God bless them. They're great. They're doing
modern day Odd Couple. The next thing that I wanted to talk about is a Paranormal Puck.
Okay.
Now this is, I don't know how much SLS cameras are, but a Paranormal Puck, it looks like they're about $400 to $500. And now this looks like a hockey puck. It's like the same size.
Right.
Black, and this has it basically has like lights and antennas, and it can read a bunch of stuff. I mean,
books?
some more than it can read books. So one thing it can read, but they can read at least this one I was looking at. It was $450. EMF, temperature, humidity, light levels, barometric pressure, movement, ionization / static levels. So basically, a lot of times what they'll do is they'll put like a camera in a room, like a...
when you were doing that laundry list, I just pulled out my phone and started looking at things.
They'll put a camera in a room and a paranormal puck, and then nobody else will be in there, so that they know, like, okay, somebody's not setting off this paranormal puck. A ghost must be doing it. Something's changing in the room. This is kind of like look, we don't know what ghosts can affect. Some ghosts maybe can affect humidity. Some can affect electric waves. Some can affect temperature. We're going to leave it all up to them. And they're going to, play with this. And we're going to like try and communicate with them maybe. We'll say like, are you here right now? And, the light will go off because it's focusing its energy to like set that thing off.
Right.
Now, the cooler thing is this thing called an Ovulus.
An Ovulus.
Now, these range from $550 to $1,500. There's another
Zach
thing.
Baggins He can
afford
that
it.
no
I think
problem.
they've
He's
got
got
a
a
few
pool
of them.
table at his house.
Yeah. Again, Tim, I don't know if it was at his house. I don't want to put words in his mouth. He does have a haunted museum in Vegas. We can go there when we go all these magic shows.
Tom, yes.
There's also a thing called a spirit box, which is basically just like cycling through very quickly a bunch of radio channels, a bunch of radio frequencies. And people can claim, again, this makes for like not great television, but gives them something, because it's basically just, imagine like an old radio where you're just spinning the dial and you're hearing like,
yeah, it's like a Radiohead concert circa 2002.
Yeah.
You got Johnny Greenwood playing with an old radio for.
Yeah. So instead of Johnny Greenwood, you buy this thing for $100. And then you can say things to it. You can ask it questions maybe. And now what they're saying is a ghost is manipulating this thing to talk to you. It needs something to work through.
No, this is the Yanni or the...
Yeah.
You hear what's planted in your head.
100%.
What's the words?
Yanni and I forget what the other one was. But yeah, 100%. Every clip I've watched of this, it'll be like quiet. Like the best examples will be that it's like quiet or static, and then it'll go like, yeah. And you can hear that it's like, oh, it caught a half a word on this station, a half a word on this station. And every single time these guys will be like, did you hear that? It said, get out of here, Zach. And then so many times they'll like dub in afterwards that they're like, upon listening to it later, it didn't actually say, get out of here, Zach. It said, we're Ghost Adventures fans. Like they'll just find something creepier for it to say. And like none of this, it's all you're trying to hear something. And again, like a Ouija board, that's fun, whatever. And it's fun to watch on TV, but like, it's not real. But the Ovilus, Tim, this is the other thing. This is the highest end thing, I think. This is basically a paranormal puck, but it can like generate words. And again, they're just kind of extrapolating things like even further. So now it's like, all right, it's sending signals through this digital thing. And then this digital thing based on those signals is like picking words and displaying those words. And it's like, how the fuck would a ghost know how to use this thing? And so many things like, though I think that the clip that I sent you, it said something like evil sent table and sent
evil put plate on other table.
No, it said evil sent table, and sent was spelled CENT. And this is one where Zach,
I remember when I watched this one.
And Zach is in the car and he's like, oh my God, I'm sitting at a table. Evil sent to the table, or I'm evil and I'm sending it from the table. And it's like, what? That's not even close. That's not even close to what it actually said. And even if it is what it said, what the fuck is that supposed to mean? Evil sent table? Because you're sitting at a table? Anyone...
I don't like how anti-Zach you're being, though.
80% of people who are sitting at a table at any given time.
Yeah, I guess that's true.
Anyway.
Some people are sitting, I don't know, around a campfire.
It's true.
Some people are sitting pretty.
If you like the show, you can find out more at tcgt.com. You can find all our social media links there. Our Reddit, our Discord, our Instagram, our Twitter. My Instagram and Twitter is at Tom Reynolds.
You can find me at Your Pal Tim. Go to the Reddit. Go to the Discord. Let's get some discourse.
You can also check out patreon.com/complete guide for books and podcasts. Hey, it's Halloween month over there, too. It's not just here. This week, we've been reading short stories, but this week we read a whole damn book in 1 week.
Yeah.
We read Goosebumps number 7, I think it is.
Yeah, the most classic Goosebumps there is, Night of the Living Dummy.
Yeah, and I mean, if you know anything about me and Tim, we're big ventriloquist fans, so, but we're also very scared of ventriloquist dummies.
Yeah.
So this was a titillating read for me.
Yeah.
You can get that episode and all the back episodes, patreon.com/complete guide. Tim, would you ever stay at like a haunted attraction? Because this is another big thing nowadays that places like hotels and stuff will advertise. Like, hey, we're haunted. Come stay here.
Is there like a reward if you do it?
No, they charge more in a lot of cases.
No, then no, I would not. Would you?
Like the place that the Overlook Hotel is based on.
Mm-hmm.
Like that, they're like a big ghost hunting type place.
Yeah. I don't know. If I'm going to pay to sleep somewhere, I'm going to want
I want to have a nice night's sleep.
Yeah.
A restful night's sleep. I don't want to be up all night.
And like, who knows if they got guys there that are going to rattle things in the walls to give you a thrill.
I think that about a lot of hotels.
Yeah. I mean, you like that. You like, you tried to check into that hotel from, I think, that New Yorker article with the with the peeper who hid in the ceiling.
Yeah, I called him up and I was like, what room is the one where the peeper had access to the stuff in the ceiling?
Yeah. You like that kind of stuff.
They're like, sir, we're not renting that room out. I would be remiss. I mean, I talked about this a couple of years ago, but I went on a ghost hunting tour in Key West, Florida.
Yeah,
that was pretty
the
good.
Hard Rock Cafe.
Well, that was one of the places that we visited, but I got evidence of a ghost on camera there.
And 3 years later, still bragging about it.
3 years later, Tim, I'm waiting for my glory.
Yeah, I mean, you might have gotten it. We can't identify it.
You know what? Honestly, this is what my glory would have been. The guy telling me the tour guide, like, hey, give me that picture. I'm going to show it to future ghost hunting tours as evidence. Because he showed us like some other things that people had. And I was so excited about this. I was like, he's going to ask for it. Then
it's like a handshake from Paul Hollywood.
Yeah. And now I'm going to be part of history. But it didn't happen.
I'm sorry that part-time tour guy who doesn't give a shit about anything.
Man, this guy seemed like he had the fucking life. All this stuff, Tim. We should be ghost hunters.
He's a regular Zach Baggins.
No, because this guy, like, I was doing like back of the page math because it was his like tour company.
Right, okay.
And like
fucking do it.
Counting
please.
how many people were there.
Talk about this stuff all the time.
And how much he got paid. And then it was just like, I don't know, he did this tour for like an hour and a half, and then he was like, all right, tour's over. I'll be at this bar if anyone wants to like come buy me drinks. And then that's his day.
Yeah.
And he gets up the next morning and probably goes surfing. Probably doesn't even think about ghosts first thing in the morning.
Probably not.
Yeah.
Tom?
Mm-hmm.
You done?
Yeah.
This is quite a Halloween.
I'll tell you more about it.
I know you are.
Recording.
That's the thing. I know you're gonna hit stop, and we had to record a whole other episode after this. But you're gonna be like, yeah, but actually, the interesting thing about the paranormal puck is
and then you'll finally drop the act like you don't like any of this stuff, and be like, oh, tell me more, but not too much. I get scared.
I do get scared.
All right, we'll see you next week.
That was a HeadGum podcast.
Little postscript here. Tom, we in fact did stop recording about 10 minutes ago, and we've been talking about the ghost hunting TV show.
Yeah, well, I haven't been able to get a word in edgewise. It's all been you.
All right. Happy Halloween month, everybody. See you next week.